Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Abington High School, the proud host of this year's 2024 Sean B. Cotter Invitational Tournament, sponsored by Abington Bank. We ask you please direct your attention to the visitors' bench area as we now announce the starting lineup for the North Quincy Raiders. Starting at forward, number 31, freshman Hunter Wood. Starting at guard, number 5, junior A.J. Arizola. Starting at center, number 25, senior Charlie Baker. Starting at guard, number 24, junior captain Kobe Newen. And starting at guard, number 12, senior captain Will Conley. The Raiders are led by their head coach, Kevin Barrett, and their assistant coaches, Chuck O'Brien and Martin Dunham. And now, please join me in welcoming the Rockland Bulldogs. Starting tonight for the Bulldogs, at forward, number 20, junior Daniel Johnson. Starting at forward, number 21, junior Brendan Camo. Starting at guard, number 24, junior Dominic White. Starting at guard, number 12, senior captain Taryn Williams. And starting at guard, number 23, senior captain Jordan DePina. The Bulldogs are led by their head coach, Fred Damon, and their assistants, Chuck McDonald, Dan Bailey, and Matt Anzalone. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you now all please rise and remove your hats as we pay tribute to our country and to those who defend our freedom by playing our national anthem. Tonight's referees are Nico Rafters, Matt Pepjonovich, and Paul Berlatotti.
Ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls, basketball fans of all ages, hello, and welcome back into the Abington High School Gymnasium for Game 1 of the 2024 Sean P. Cotter Invitational Tournament. It is the North Quincy Raiders coming down Route 18 to face the Bulldogs of Rockland. I'm Mad Dog Matt Nelson, joined alongside by Dr. James Madden. Doc, it's a little bit weird for me to be looking at the home bench here at Abington and seeing Rockland sitting there.
Yeah, it's a little different, but you know, we've gotten accustomed to this Sean Cotter tournament for the past 10, 15 years or so, and we're on tap for a fun one. North Quincy versus Rockland, two squads that, you know, both are in the South Shore, but really unfamiliar with each other. Both teams have had disappointing seasons with disappointing records, but looking to make a little bit of noise and go on a run to finish off their seasons here in the South Shore in the Sean Cotter tournament.
Green Wave have faced North Quincy on the gridiron in the last couple of seasons. But as North Quincy participates in Division 2, the schools in the South Shore League don't see too much of the Raiders. The Green Wave did defeat the Presidents earlier this season, North Quincy's crosstown rival.
North Quincy, the Red Raiders, split with the Quincy Presidents this season. They fell to them, I believe, last week, February 9th, 68-64. and they beat them 71-65 earlier this season in January. So some competitive battles between the crosstown rivals.
Taryn Williams getting his own offensive rebound. Now it's a corner three attempt for Danny Johnson. That one doesn't go. Jordan DePina, the co-captain, can't get his shot to go either. And North Quincy back the other way. The Raiders wearing their visiting black jerseys, red trim around the white numbers and lettering. The Bulldogs in their home whites. And North Quincy will strike first with Kobe Nguyen.
And he'll be the player to watch for the Red Raiders. Just a junior, but he's a captain for the North Quincy that talks about him as a player and as a leader. And that's how much trust the North Quincy coaching staff, led by their head coach Kevin Barrett, have in Nguyen. And he's a terrific player and a player to watch in this one alongside his captain counterpart, Will Conley, and the freshman in the starting lineup, Hunter Wood.
A.J. Arizola rotating to Nguyen, now gives off to Charlie Baker, not the former governor of Massachusetts and current president of the NCAA. Jordan DePina will run the point for Rockland. He gives to Danny Johnson, who lost the handle, able to get it back on the baseline. DePina now fired in for Brendan Como, takes the spin around jumper, no good. Williams the offensive board, high floater, no good. And now DePina launches the triple. That one irons out. 4 missed chances for the Bulldogs there as they have yet to get on the board 2 minutes in.
And Coach Fred Damon happy with the looks. I heard him yell to Brandon Camo after the missed three. Good take and good look, but just unable to connect. Rockland, has had their chances, but unable to find the scoring column in the first 2 minutes of this one. And the only points tonight from Kobe Nguyen on the other end for North Quincy.
Longtime coach of the Bulldogs, Fred Damon, talk about what he brings to the table from a coaching standpoint.
He's as passionate as a coach as you can find in the South Shore League. For Coach Damon has built a terrific culture at Rockland. They've had a down past couple of years, but when you go back look at their sweatshirts, the 2019-2020 season, they were South Shore League champions. So they've been very successful under Coach Damon. Obviously, the past few years have been disappointing, but he brings a lot of passion, a lot of fire, and one of the most passionate coaches, not only in the South Shore League, but in the state of Massachusetts. And that's, he gives his players good reason to play hard, and that's what Rockland has done, and that's what they'll always do, as long as Coach Fred Damon is at the head of things for the Rockland Bulldogs.
Nguyen ran out of room on the baseline, fired it out to Arizola. Now it's Will Conley. Hunter Wood ran out of room, and his pass intercepted by Dominic White. Pull-up three is good. Rockland on the board with style. Danny Johnson hitting the triple. And North Quincy will call a quick timeout.
It's a good look for Danny Johnson, maybe for the Bulldogs. They ruled it a 2 on the floor. Or a guy like Taryn Williams or Jordan DePina, the two captains, can maybe get hot in this first quarter and jump out to a good start. Rockland, like I said, has found some quality looks, just unable to connect early on. But we were all knotted up at 2 with 5:20 to play in the first quarter. In the first game of the Sean Cotter tournament, our second game today in the Abington Cam Marathon here on President's Day and all February vacation long.
Quarters 4 through 8 of 12 total for us today. We're back for 12 more on Wednesday, because what's the definition of insanity?
And we just wrapped up a girls basketball game that was competitive. It was competitive in the first half, but Attleboro, a very good Division I squad, pulled away, forcing turnovers, their full court press, and the Green Wave just unable to handle the Attleboro press. So it was a fun first half in that game, but we're hoping for a more competitive finish in this one, and then our boys basketball team takes on Cape Cod Academy to finish it off tonight.
Nguyen gets around the screen down to Wood, who is called for the travel. Jordan DePina, closely guarded, gets it back around the screen of Arizola. Suffocating defense as DePina drives in. His floating shot doesn't go. Rebound to Charlie Baker.
And that was a good take for Jordan DePina. He's an uber athletic guard, and he's also quarterbacked the offense for the Rockland Bulldogs football team this past fall. But he'll run the point for the Bulldogs, and he is one of Coach Damon's favorite players, hence his captaincy on the squad. But an uber-athletic guard that is very aggressive, and he's just a Rockland Bulldog through and through with the way he plays.
Wood off the glass and in. Coach Damon fired up.
Doesn't take much to get Coach Damon fired up.
North Quincy with a 4-2 lead halfway through the first quarter. Slow going on the offensive side of things. Arizona gives out to Nguyen. Nice dish down low, and it's Baker. Three for Taryn Williams is good.
And I talked about it at the timeout break. The Bulldogs really need Taryn Williams or Jordan DePina to catch fire and score consistently in this first quarter because they really need to jump out to a good start. North Quincy's a tough squad regardless of their record, and Rockland doesn't want to fall behind early on. And if Taryn Williams is knocking down threes like that, Rockland will be in for hopefully some success tonight for them because Taryn Williams is an important player for the Bulldogs.
Both these squads coming in at 5-13 on the year. Rockland trying to shake a 3-game losing streak. North Quincy has fallen in 6 of their last 7.
Yep, 6 of their last 7. They had a 6-game losing streak prior to their win over Silver Lake this past Friday night. So just a disappointing season for Coach Barrett and the Raiders. And we talked about it at the end of the girls' broadcast. A very good history at North Quincy, but just really unable to find their footing in a very tough conference with teams like Whitman, Hanson, Hingham, Quincy, who's normally very solid. So North Quincy's really struggled this season, but hoping to turn it around next season and get back to their past ways.
Williams catch and shoot 3 doesn't go. Going way up for the rebound was White. And White gets the N1. White can't get the free throw to go. Full court pressure for Rockland now. They give up the Baker bucket underneath.
And that's how you break the full court press. You pass right through it. They found Nguyen in the front court, and then he found Charlie Baker for an easy layup on the block. And Nguyen and Baker has been the 1-2 punch in this first quarter for the Red Raiders so far.
Arizona pull up off the window. No good. Baker goes in and gets the rebound. Arizona for 3 is good.
3 straight possessions for the Raiders. That's been Charlie Baker. He had 2 buckets, and this time an offensive rebound that he kicks back out to Arizona for a 3. Will Baker getting it done. Rather, Charlie Baker getting it done for the Raiders in this first quarter.
Johnson can't get it off the window. And now it'll be Will Conley giving to Arizona. The Raider offense settling things down. Baker for Nguyen. Nguyen's big drive was fouled. He'll be at the line for 2. Contact called on Taryn Williams. Nguyen good on his first attempt.
I feel like you could have heard a pin drop on that free throw.
Yeah, it got pretty eerily quiet.
I feel like that makes it harder on the free throw shooter, too, getting your own head a little bit. Not for Nguyen. Good stroke at the free throw line for the junior captain.
Williams, 3, that's off. Baker another rebound. Arizona off the glass and in. Johnson trying to step through, lost it to Baker, then turned back over to Jax LeDuc. Trowel called on Johnson.
We talked about Coach Damon and his passion and his fire. It really only took him about 3 minutes to get fired up, and as his team trails by 8, you know how that goes. He keeps getting more fired up, trying to get his team to get back into this one, but really struggling with turnovers and really struggling with the shot making in this first quarter, and that's the reason they trail by 8 against North Quincy, who's done a very nice job on the offensive end of the floor to open up this one.
Baker, nice pass down low off the window and in. Marquez Rodriguez Smith. Down low, it's Williams. Can't get the bucket off of the window. And that is going to be an open layup that Rockland might regret later on.
And that's really how this first quarter has gone for them. It's been, them unable to knock down shots, North Quincy forcing turnovers and scoring easy buckets in transition while they break the full court press. North Quincy's done a very nice job passing through the press, and that's why they lead by 10.
Aiden Burris. Nice dish down low to Baker.
And that's the second impressive dime we've seen from Nguyen, both to Charlie Baker. And like I said, Nguyen Baker, the 1-2 punch in this first quarter, and the deficit keeps growing for Rockland. They trail by 12, 19-7, with 23 seconds to play in the first quarter.
Contact called on Marquez Rodriguez Smith. Shot clock off, 23 seconds to go. Dominic White fires to Williams and then gets it back. 15 to shoot for Rockland. DePina. 7 on the clock. DePina starts his drive in. Looked like a carry. Can't get the roll. Gets his own rebound. Then it had a shot blocked. Nguyen had his pocket picked. Baker's bomb hit rim but didn't go. Wouldn't have counted anyway. 19-7 at the end of one. North Quincy on top of Rockland. James?
Yeah, really all North Quincy. Kobe Nguyen, Charlie Baker, and AJ Arizola, the three-headed attack for the Raiders. Nguyen only 1 bucket, but he did a nice job dishing it off down low to Charlie Baker. He's had a couple flashy passes, and Baker's done a nice job at the rim getting the job done in Arizola. He's been pushing the tempo, leading the charge for the Raiders, and has been one of the reasons, going back on their offensive possession, most of their points have come on fast break transition points, breaking the Rockland press. Rockland has done a not so great job on their full court press, and the Raiders are using it to their advantage, and that's the reason they lead by 12. Rockland really needs to limit the turnovers and maybe drop out of the press and maybe try and stop the Raiders in a set piece on defense, but really struggling in that full court press, and that's the reason North Quincy leads by 12.
Well, we've talked about the impressiveness of Nguyen James with already a couple of assists, the 1 bucket, and a couple of rebounds. Should we put him on an early triple-double watch?
That's some big time pressure you're putting on him, but that's what he's done all season long. He's been able to get it done in all 3 phases of the game. He's gone out there, he's given other teams 30, but he'll also go out there and give you 8 assists, 7, 8 rebounds, and he just gets it done on every facet of the game for the North Quincy Raiders. And he's a junior, but he's a captain, so that tells you about him both on the court and off the court as a leader, and that's how much trust Coach Kevin Barrett has in Kobe Nguyen, and he's shown it in this first quarter. Him and Charlie Baker alongside AJ Arizola getting it done.
Nguyen, a nice windmill layup is good for his second of the evening. Intercepted by Hunter Wood. Wood had a shot blocked by DePina. Williams able to tiptoe the baseline and controls the rebound. DePina on a slow developing Rockland offensive attack. White's jumper is good.
And that ended a little bit of a dry spout for the Bulldogs. Dominic White knocked down the mid-range J, and Rockland had really struggled in the offensive end of the floor with their shot making. Hopefully a guy like Dominic White seeing that go down will open up the floor a little bit more for guys like Taryn Williams and Jordan DePina, who we already talked about, maybe start scoring more consistently and start knocking down some shots.
Aiden Burris was fouled on his way into the restricted area. 7:05 to go in the second. 21-9 North Quincy on top. Another one of those eerily quiet in here sequences, James.
Yeah, and I said it's kind of like, I think it's too quiet for a free throw shooter. Sometimes you want a little bit of noise, but Aiden Burris didn't really affect him, and we saw Nguyen at the line earlier, so I guess North Quincy not affected by the silence in the gym, and like I said, you can get in your own head a little bit with the silence, but North Quincy knocking down their free throws and capitalizing off of shooting fouls as we have a shooting violation.
Tyler Boehner in for Rockland. Brendan Camo underneath. Coach Damon just clapped and said, "Thank you." That's execution of a designed play at its finest.
And that's a promising start to the second quarter. They struggled on the offensive end of the floor in that first quarter, but back-to-back possessions with good buckets and executing on a set play. And Rockland hoping to get back into this one and cut into the deficit before the half.
White for three. That's off. Offensive rebound for Boehner. This time it's Wood. Almost looked like a travel. Wood catches and puts up a floater. No good. Rebound control that time by Will Carpine. White open look at three. That one's off. And Coach Damon looking at his team saying, what was that?
I mean, I think he's just unsatisfied with the looks they're getting on the offensive end of the floor. And I thought it was a quality look, but it seems like he's upset about something. But I thought it was a quality look for Rockland. It was an open three, but unless I'm mistaken for something else. But Coach Damon used another timeout and trying to get his team back in it. And his type of energy gets a team fired up and gives them maybe a little bit more energy to get back into it. And they don't trail, they only trail by 11. So, a couple stops, a couple buckets to get back in within 6 and get it back to 4 or 5 before the half, and you're in business. So Rockland not out of this game yet, but they got to start getting some better looks on the offensive end of the floor.
North Quincy leading 11-22 to 11 is the score. 5:55 to go in the second. Sonny James, one of the Raiders that has been particularly impressive so far, Charlie Baker, especially on the boards.
Yeah, Charlie Baker, he's done a very nice job down low, both on both sides of the floor. He's been able to finish through traffic on some of Kobe Nguyen's assists, but he's also done a very nice job on the defensive glass, on the offensive glass. We saw him come up with a big offensive rebound that he kicked out to A.J. Arizola, and Arizola knocked down the three. So Baker having a very nice first half in this one. I said the 1-2 punch so far for the Red Raiders has been Kobe Nguyen and Charlie Baker, both guys getting it done for North Quincy.
Green Wave coaching staff taking in a little bit of this one before they prep their team for the finale of our triple header. Good hands in the front row by Coach Marquardt. As that pass was fired out of bounds. White with the rebound. Now it is Boehner. Boehner lost the handle, and Charlie Baker comes away with the loose ball. Nguyen drives in, underhanded layup off the glass and in.
And he's done it all for North Quincy in this first half. He's knocked down a couple buckets, 6 points by my count. He's had a couple dimes. He's been able to get some rebounds, and he continues to get it done for the Red Raiders, and he's the reason they lead by 13.
Foul away from the ball. Elbow called on Nguyen here, his second foul.
And that's, I wouldn't, freak out yet if I were North Quincy. Obviously, he still is. Once you get to the third personal foul in the first half, that's when you start to worry. But something to monitor if you're Coach Barrett and the Raiders. Your star player Kobe Nguyen already 2 personal fouls, not even the midway point of the second quarter yet.
Tapina thought about the three. White, and the illegal screen will be called here on Camo.
And on the offensive end of the floor, Rockland just hasn't really caught a break. They've found some quality looks, just unable to connect. That time, another turnover. That time, an offensive foul against Brandon Camo for an illegal screen. And I think they've played very well on the defensive end of the floor in the second quarter. Just really not getting it done on the offensive end.
Nguyen makes it look easy again. He's got 8. Shot blocked by Baker. And the contact called on Will Carpine. Karen Williams and David Johnson back in.
Number 20, David Johnson.
Aiden Burris able to break the full court pressure. Baker. Pierce now for Danny Wilton's three-point attempts. No good. Rapina the rebound. Johnson drives in and took some contact. Pierce will be called.
Great foul for 8 Burris. Goes Danny Johnson to the line for the Bulldogs.
Johnson's first attempt rims out. And good on his second attempt. 26-12, 14-point lead for the Raiders. Hard foul as Burris was driving in.
And that's another thing that North Quincy's done very well in this game is they've gotten to the free throw line with ease. And this time Burris, this will be his second trip tonight. Nguyen's been to the line a couple times. I think Arizola's been. And North Quincy not afraid to attack the hoop and draw the foul. And that's what they've done in this first half, and they've gotten to the line with ease tonight.
Rockland currently sitting at number 40 in Division 4. Currently in the outside looking in. What do the Bulldogs have to do to crack the top 32?
So I think they would need to win this game. I think this would help them a lot being in D4. You win over a D2 opponent. That will, I'd imagine, boost your rating, and then hope that they can hope that the Green Wave win in the second game tonight. And then they would need to beat the Green Wave on Wednesday. So it's not impossible, but based on the score down 14, they are on the outside looking in, but they'd like to get the job done. And even if they don't make the playoffs, they like to end the season on a high note, make some noise in the Sean Cotter tournament, and end the season in a positive manner.
Hunter Wood, Arizola, and Will Conley all back in for the Raiders. Taryn Williams drives in, finds a lane, puts it off the window and in.
Tough make for Taryn Williams, one of the captains for the Bulldogs. I'd like to see him attack the hoop more and maybe just honestly shoot more, because Williams really hasn't had the ball in his hands a ton. In the game you trail by 12, you need some buckets quick, and Taryn Williams can do that for you if you're the Bulldogs.
Nguyen was fouled on the floor. The hold called on Williams, his second personal. That puts North Quincy in the double bonus. Nguyen good on his first free throw to give him 9. Nguyen perfect from the stripe so far, James. And he's into double digits with 10.
Yeah, and looking at their box scores and their stats from games in the past, Nguyen's done a nice job getting to the free throw line. I looked at a game, he had 30 points earlier this season in a win over Hingham, and he had 11 free throws made in that game. So Nguyen does a nice job not only getting to the line, but knocking down the free throws, and that's half the battle. And ask any coach in America what you want to improve on is usually free throws, because you always, when you have the opportunity to get free points when you're not being guarded, you got to knock those shots down, and that's what Nguyen does for the Red Raiders.
Nguyen with it now. Crosses over at the elbow. Wood takes a triple. No good. Charlie Baker the rebound. Arizola for the Raiders. Drives in, up and down. Call for the travel. Ball ping-ponging around. Danny Johnson comes away with it. Nice hesitation underneath by Brendan Camo.
And if you're Coach Damon, you want to see more of that. Danny Johnson did a nice job. He almost lost it, but he kept the ball, got it back. He did a nice job breaking the press. He dished it off to Camo, and Camo laid it in. An easy bucket in transition, and he did a nice job breaking the press. And the Rockland Bulldogs, like I said, down 12, not the worst case scenario, because they can easily get back into this one. 2:21 to play in the second quarter. Get it back down to 6 or 5 before the half, and then they're in business, and they have a chance to compete in the second half.
Johnson steps in and got fouled by Baker.
Great foul on 22, Ben Hudak. Danny Johnson will shoot 2 for the Bulldogs.
Though they do trail by 11, I do think that Danny Johnson has had a very nice first half for the Bulldogs. He knocked down a 3 early on, back-to-back good possessions for the Bulldogs. He got a nice assist that he dished off to Camo, this time drawing a foul, getting to the line, and knocking down both free throws. So, if I were to give a player of the half to a team that trails by 10, it would be Danny Johnson for the Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs stealing the inbound pass, but they can't get the shot. Nguyen off of the Raider rebound. 2 minutes to go, and the Raiders will slow things up. Nguyen working with Will Conley on the opposite wing. To the corner. Tipped out, stolen away by Taryn Williams. Williams with Johnson the trailer. Williams gets it off the glass.
A little bit of positivity for the Bulldogs, stringing together a couple good defensive possessions and then turning into buckets on the other end. Down 8, and Bolt Rockland, just like that, has made this once again a ball game and late in the first half.
Nguyen, open look for 3. Can't do that.
And that's Nguyen, his first triple of the night, but if you leave him wide open, he's going to knock it down. 13 points in this first half for Kobe Nguyen. North Quincy leads by 11. Very nice first half for the junior captain on the Raiders.
Williams, the acrobatic pull down of the wild pass. Now Danny Johnson, far wing. Camo, long 2. No, it's a 3 and good.
Brandon Camo in the face of Kobe Nguyen. Whatever you can do, I can do better. Camo, similar to Danny Johnson, having a very nice finish to the second half. Rockland back with an 8.
Arizola, Nguyen, another triple. That one's good too. Back-to-back 3s for Kobe Nguyen.
And Coach Damon looks to his bench, shakes his head, said, what else can we do? Good defense from the Bulldogs. But Nguyen, one of the best players in the Patriot League for a reason. Back-to-back 3s for the junior captain.
Shot clock off here as Connolly is called for the foul. Banner's going to come back in with the direction, James. I need you to play defense from Coach Damon.
Yep, and I think up until the final 2 minutes of the second quarter, Rockland's did a very nice job in the second quarter on the defensive end of the floor, and they really struggled in the offensive end to open up the second quarter, but now they're finishing it very well on the offensive end now. Kobe Nguyen, he's knocked down a couple tough shots, so, there was a point where it is just good offense, but they left Kobe Nguyen wide open on one. Kobe Nguyen knocked down a real tough shot, but Rockland within 9 and not in the worst spot as they inch closer to halftime.
Raiders able to break the press with 25 to shoot. Here to end the second quarter, they're up 9, 34-25. Game 1 of the Sean P. Cotter Invitational Tournament. Winner to face the winner of the Abington Green Wave and Cape Cod Academy. New Union just holding now with 10. Baker sets the pick. Arizola with 4. And he's called for the travel. Rockland will have a chance for the catch and shoot. 3.5 seconds to go.
Very good defensive possession once again for the Bulldogs. They've done a nice job on the defensive end. That time forcing a turnover, a travel against AJ Arizola, and a chance to make it, who knows, maybe even a 6-point game at the end of this first half.
Turned over, and the shot won't count as it was stolen away at half court. The buzzer sounds. The first half has come to an end. Could be better, could be worse for Rockland. They're down 9 at the break.
Yeah, in Rockland, they got back into it, down 9, but they trailed by as many as 14 in this first half. And they finished the second quarter very well on the offensive end of the floor. They struggled to open the second quarter on the offensive end, and then they were very good on defense, but it's kind of flipped, but they did a nice job on the defensive end of the floor. And Kobe Nguyen for North Quincy, 16 points, 2 for 2 from 3, 4 for 4 from the free throw line, so getting it done in every facet and at every level for the Raiders, and he's the reason they lead by 9, 34-25 at the break.
We're going to step aside, take a quick break. We'll have second half action for you right after this. Hello and welcome back into the gym here at Abington High School for the second half of action. Game 1 of the 2024 Sean P. Cotter Invitational Tournament. I'm Mad Dog Matt Nelson. He's Dr. James Madden. Doc, it's North Quincy by 9 coming into the third quarter, 34-25. Kobe Nguyen with 18 of the Raiders' 34 points.
And yeah, all Nguyen in the first half for the Red Raiders. He was getting it done. He got it done at the rim with a couple flashy layups. He had a couple nice assists, both to Charlie Baker. And then he knocked down a couple threes late in the second quarter. So Nguyen getting it done in every phase on the offensive end of the floor, and he's the reason they lead by 9. North Quincy looking to put away Rockland and move on to the Sean Cotter Tournament Championship game again on Wednesday night against the Green Wave or the Cape Cod Academy Seahawks, who we'll see in just a few minutes, in just about an hour or so.
That game was a rematch of previous Cotter Tournament games. Got a little bit scrappy between the Seahawks and the Green Wave.
Back in the 22 season, a little spicy, but
little flavor right at the end.
It was a fun game, I'll tell you. We were on the call then, and it was a lot of intensity, in a high-level basketball game between two very good squads, and a lot of turnover on the Cape Cod Academy roster. Some new names, a new coach, but looking to get it done in the Sean Cotter Tournament. They've had a disappointing season, but another team that we talked about it has had a very strong past 5-6 seasons, and looking to make some noise in the South Shore League to finish out their season. On the South Shore in the Sean Cotter Tournament, excuse me.
Baker tried to feed Wood down low. He rescues it in front of the Raider bench and turns it over to Brendan Camo. Camo looked for 3. Irons out, tipped out off of the Bulldogs. I think with the South Shore League, James, that I've noticed in my few years here in Abington, the Bulldogs won it all in 1920. It could be any given team, any given year. You've got the powerhouses that are always going to contend, but any year a team could sneak in there, like Rockland in that 1920 season, and just run the table.
Yeah, and they went undefeated in the South Shore League that year. That was the COVID-shortened season, but Rockland was very strong that year. They had a couple, a big man, Patrick Moriarty down low, and he really led the charge for the Bulldogs. And you talk about it, it's really anyone's league. Every year, the Green Wave came away with the South Shore League Tobin Division Championship. They were one loss away from being undefeated. They fell in their second South Shore League game of the year against Sandwich. Norwell won on the other side in the Sullivan Division, and Norwell hadn't won in a few years. So really, it's anyone's league. Cohasset won it a couple times. Believe they won it last year as well. Randolph's won it in the past. So anyone's league any given year, and the Green Wave and Norwell both came away with league titles this year.
Bulldogs chasing 5 now, making a short run, and the jumper is good for Brendan Camo to cut it to a 3-point game. Timeout by Kevin Barrett. The Bulldogs have come out of the locker room firing on all cylinders here, James.
Yeah, first minute and 15 seconds, or 45 seconds, excuse me. 6-0 run for the Bulldogs. They did a nice job, I thought, on the defensive end of the floor. The defense was never the problem in that first half, but like I said, if they start knocking down some shots, they're going to get back into it, and that's what they've done to open up this third quarter. And they've opened up the half on a 6-0 run. They've cut the lead back down to 3, 34-31. North Quincy leads, and if you're North Quincy, give the ball to Kobe Nguyen, let him do his thing, because when he does his thing like we saw in the first quarter, good things, first half, good things happen for the Raiders.
Meanwhile, the Bulldogs talk about the adjustments they made at halftime and how they've been able to go on this current 6-point run to start the half and hold North Quincy scoreless in the first 2 minutes.
They've had better spacing. I remember Coach Damon talking to a couple guys at free throw breaks. He brought Brandon Camo over to talk about spacing. I believe when Danny Johnson drove the lane. But they've had better spacing, which has opened up the floor for them, and they've gotten some better quality looks. Even on a miss from Brandon Camo, it was a wide open look, and they had good spacing. I believe it went out of bounds out off Rockland. But it's just been their spacing, and it's opened up the floor for them, and that's the reason they've been able to start the half on a 6-0 run. They've just found better looks, and they've been able to capitalize.
The Raiders have the inbounds. Floated up ahead to Nguyen. 2 Bulldogs collide in a wild sequence. The loose ball winds up in the hands of Jordan DePina in front of the Raider bench. Fired in for White. White called for travel.
Got away with an extra step there. Was trying to break away from his defender, and he was in good position. That was his defender, Will Conley, but shuffled his feet and left his feet, ultimately whistled for the travel call.
Arizola looked like he committed a travel. Dishes down low to Charlie Baker, and Baker makes no mistake.
And Charlie Baker has really benefited off of some terrific guard play from the Raiders. The first half, we saw a couple flashy dimes down low from Kobe Nguyen that found Charlie Baker, this time from A.J. Arizola. So the guards doing a nice job locating their big man down low, wide open on the block, and Baker's done the easy part, that's lay it off the glass and in.
Johnson gets the friendly bounce. Quincy, of course known as the City of Presidents. Here's your trivia fact of the night, James. Also home to the original location of what franchise?
The original location of what franchise in Quincy? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the New England Patriots.
It is not the New England Patriots.
I'm completely lost. I thought it was going to be president trivia, which I'm pretty good with. I thought it was going to be a layup, like, who are the 2 presidents from Quincy? I was going to feel like I was on top of the world. But
Hunter Wood getting the 2 to extend the North Quincy lead to 6:38-32. It is not the New England Patriots, but it is the official coffee of the New England Patriots.
Oh, I knew this actually. I was thinking, when you said franchise, I was thinking sports franchise.
Sports franchise.
But, oh yeah, Dunkin' Donuts.
Quincy is home to the New England Free Jacks.
The Free Jacks. Patrick Chung's the owner, former New England Patriots safety.
And the Free Jacks won a championship
They did win a championship, did they? I'm not the hugest New England Free Jacks fan in the world, I'll tell you. But they used to play their games up at Union Point in Weymouth, right?
I believe
Way
so.
back
now
in
they
the
play
day.
down at Veterans Stadium, one of the nicer football facilities in the state.
We were there for a terrific football game
We were
way
there
back in the day.
for Coach Jim Kelleher, who's in attendance tonight. His 300th victory at the helm of the Green Wave. That was in the playoffs against St. Mary's of Lynn.
What a game that was. And what a shot
nice
that was.
Roll. Gets the spin off the glass. Rockland calls a timeout. They're making a charge, 40-34, 4.5 minutes to go in the third quarter.
I feel like I can't even consider myself a Bostonian that I got that question wrong. In my defense, I was thinking sports franchise. We were on the wrong page, but I do happen to know where the original Dunkin' Donuts is. It's on the. I don't think I've ever been there though. Just drove past it back when I was younger. My mom's like, "Oh, that's the original Dunkin' Donuts." And I was like, it comes from Quincy, huh? But I don't make it up to Quincy a ton. So
Quincy home to some legendary eats.
every city is, you know. Any places on the bar pizza radar for you?
So there's alumni and there's Rags in Quincy, are probably the two big ones. My place is the China on Hancock Street, a Chinese food sports bar that has some of the best Chinese food you'll have. They do, in fact, have bar pizza on the menu, Chinese food inspired.
Have you ever had their bar pizza?
I have. I've had their General Gao's pizza. I've had their boneless spare rib pizza. It's interesting. If you're going for the vibe of different and tasty, it's up your alley. 40-34, it's a 6-point lead for North Quincy here, approaching the halfway point of quarter number 3, game 1 of the Sean Cotter tournament. Game number 2 of our 3-game triple header on Abington Community Access and Media. It's another bucket for Charlie Baker. 3 from the far side falls for Jax Leduc.
His first action tonight, and he's having his presence felt, knocking down a 3. Answers right back from a Charlie Baker layup. And Baker, I talked about it. He's benefiting off of terrific guard play, and once again, sitting on the block, wide open. And he laid it in after a terrific pass from A.J. Arizola.
And a technical foul called here on DePina, who was playing some great defense. As he was coming to the bench for a timeout with the ball, he tossed it back behind him. It rolled off of the leg of the Raider he was defending, and the ref with the immediate sign for the tech. Interesting one here is DePina and Coach Damon try to plead their case here.
Seems like it might have just been a misunderstanding between the referee and Jordan DePina, but
that's DePina's 3rd foul.
Oh yeah, they do count towards the personal fouls. So a costly 3rd foul. Coach Damon, obviously a little upset, but regardless of
it, looked like the ref was about to ready to give another tech.
He wasn't having it, but it'd be 2 free throws for the Raiders.
And possession.
And one could assume Kobe Nguyen would be shooting the free throws. It looks like he's going over to the line. But in Nguyen, we talked about him, very good at the free throw line. So maybe a costly 2 points down the road for the Bulldogs.
DePina now pleading his case to his coach, trying to explain what happened. Nguyen will take the free throws. Hits his first. Around 20 points on the evening for Nguyen. And there is his 20th point. And now the Raiders with possession, a chance to further open it up with a 7-point lead. Nguyen along the sideline. Shoulders off his defender, Leduc. Wood gives to Nguyen on the near wing. Baker underneath, gets another 2.
And Will Baker is these point guards' favorite target on the offensive end of the floor. Arizola and Nguyen keep finding him on the block, and he keeps delivering.
Baker stealing it away. Wood underneath, off the window and in. Great possession for the Raiders.
And that's a
steal, a nice pass, and then the bucket.
And that was a nightmare sequence for the Bulldogs. They were within, calling distance, and a 6-0 run in a span of about 20 seconds for the Raiders puts the Red Raiders back up 11.
DePina gets the roller around the rim to stop the North Quincy run, but the Bulldogs still chasing 9 with 3 minutes to play in the 3rd. Williams is going to come back in to shore up the Bulldogs' defense. Nguyen, floater off the window, no good. Wood the offensive rebound, still loose on the deck. DePina able to hand it off to Brendan Camo in traffic. Pull-up 3 is good for Danny Johnson.
And I talked about him at the end of that first half. Danny Johnson has had a terrific game for the Bulldogs, and without him, they're not within 6 points, and he knocked down a three. That's his second tray ball of the ball game. Danny Johnson, a great game for the Bulldogs.
Pierce getting around DePina. Loose ball, Wood gathers it back in and then flung it out of play. In come Williams and Will Carpine. It is Camo and Leduc coming out. Newman with another couple points. 2 minutes to go in the third. North Quincy by 8, 50-42. Foul will be called this time on Burris.
And another tough make from Kobe Nguyen through traffic. He absorbed the contact off the glass. 22 points for the junior captain, putting together a very nice game once again for North Quincy. And he's had a terrific season as well for the Raiders.
Floated in for Dominic White. Now it's Johnson, a couple of big three-pointers. Spins through, had a shot blocked by Baker. Rebound loose. Burris was able to regain his footing as he was starting to fall out of bounds. Now a beautiful steal by Johnson. He's in against Nguyen, had his shot blocked. It's out of play off of Nguyen. Rick still poking it away with his left hand and then gathering in the dribble with his right.
And they've really just been going at it all game long. Kobe Nguyen's been through almost 3 quarters of play, the player of the game for the Raiders, but undoubtedly the player of the game so far for the Bulldogs has been Danny Johnson, getting it done on both ends of the floor for Rockland.
Rockland was dangerously close to a 5-second violation. Instead, a push called on Dominic White as Wood was starting to drive towards the hoop. 1:26 to go in the third. Lead still 8 for North Quincy. Nguyen, quick jumper. Nice fadeaway.
And he's been able to score consistently at all 3 levels all day long. He's knocked down a couple threes. That time, his first mid-range jumper of the ball game, and he's finished strongly at the rim. Kobe Nguyen, 24 points and not even 3 quarters of play.
White spinning with it. Can't get the bucket. Out of play off of Rockland. Nguyen with the ball, 1 minute to go in the third. He'll get called for an extra step here. White working with DePina. Full court man pressure, and the Bulldogs turn it over.
And they had done a nice job in this third quarter, not turning it over. But, they got within 3 early on in the third quarter. They opened up the quarter on a very nice run. But North Quincy was able to jump back out to a lead, but that time just too much on the pass, out off the hand of Taryn Williams.
Pierce took too many steps on his wide open highway in. Back in comes Brendan Camo. He replaces Carpine. Williams waits for Layers. 4-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Now shot clock is off. It's tipped out of play off of Rockland. And North Quincy will have a chance for the last shot, up 10 here in the third.
And they're not afraid to dribble the clock down. We saw at the end of the first half, Kobe Nguyen didn't even put the ball on the floor, wasted about 18 seconds before a final shot opportunity.
Wood spinning, took some contact, puts it off the window and in. And a timeout called. And an inadvertent whistle instead. Coach Stamen He's giving his play call. Ref thought he heard the word timeout. They'll put 1 second back on the clock. Kenny Johnson gives to DePina with 5. DePina. Johnson takes the long 3. Rims out at the buzzer. It's North Quincy by 12 at the end of 3, 54-42.
In Rockland, they played tough in the third quarter. They got within 3 early on, but North Quincy answered right back after being punched in the mouth and jumped back out to a 12-point lead. Kobe Nguyen, 24 points, 3 quarters of play, and the season high is 30, I believe. So who knows? Maybe he can eclipse that, but North Quincy, 12-point lead after 3.
Let's do a quick preview of Cape Cod Academy and the Abington Green Wave in our third and final game of the tripleheader tonight.
The Green Wave, they're coming on. They're on a 7-game win streak. They've won 7 of their last 8. Their last loss was on Martin Luther King Day back against Martha's Vineyard. But the Green Wave have been playing very well. They've been trending in the right direction, up to 17th in the unofficial power rankings. But North Quincy, on the other hand, very opposite fortunes this season. They're 0-18. And we've seen, not North Quincy, Cape Cod Academy. But we've seen them have very good battles. We talked about back in 2022 how intense that game was in the Sean Cotter Tournament Championship. So we're hoping for more of the same. The Green Wave looking to take care of business against a team that's had a very disappointing season and that's lost a lot of star power from their past teams. But Abington looking to get the job done and move into their Sean Cotter Tournament Championship against, presumably, based off the score and the trend of this game, North Quincy. But Rockland would like to have a word about that, maybe come back in this one and get the job done against North Quincy.
Brendan Camo called for his second personal foul. The bounce is good for Hunter Wood. DePina, the charity stripe, gives to Johnson for the triple. No good, gets his own rebound. And the putback is good.
Danny Johnson continuing to get it done. Followed his own miss, put it off the glass and in. This time forcing a turnover, getting a steal once again. Danny Johnson, regardless of the score, having a terrific game for the Bulldogs.
Airmailing this one out of play. Coach Damon with his hands on his head.
His go-to reaction. I've seen him do it a couple times now. And he's nothing short of passionate about
There's
Rockland
certain
Bulldogs
coaches
basketball.
that are more entertaining to watch on the sidelines than others. Coach Damon is definitely on that list.
He's as passionate as it gets about Rockland basketball. So, the longtime head coach of the Bulldogs.
Count the bucket and the foul for Brendan Camo. Baker's third personal foul, I believe. Camo converts the three-point play, 56-47. 7:17 remains in the fourth.
And hopefully for Rockland, that'll maybe change the momentum a little bit and move the needle and give them a little bit of energy. They trail by 9, so not completely out of it. And definitely an opportunity to get back in this one with just over 7 minutes to play in the ballgame.
The foul called on Camo. And now Dominic White is called for his third personal. That will send Jax LeDuc back in. Arizola for the inbound. Bounce in for Charlie Baker on the design play off the window and in.
And Charlie Baker, he's had quietly a very nice game for the Raiders, finishing through traffic. He's been very strong down low in the paint, and like I said, some terrific guard play has found him the ball, the guards have found him down low on the block, and he's been able to finish through traffic and get the job done.
Corner three doesn't go. Wood the rebound. Arizola on the far wing starts his drive in, has to cut back for Wood. Foul play off of North Quincy. Good Rockland defensive stand. Joe Erner now with it. Gives to Jax Leduc. DePino the long three, no good. Came charging in for a shot, and the Bulldogs come away with it. Now it's Leduc for three, that's too strong. And Eden Burris the rebound. Arizola off the inbound. Less than 6 minutes remain in quarter number 8 out of 12. Nguyen all the way in, strong, turned it over to Como, who flung it into the arms of Charlie Baker. Put it off the glass and in.
Baker's still getting it done. I mean, we talked about the 1-2 punch all night long and all season long has been Charlie Baker, Kobe Nguyen, both of them getting it done. And DePina cuts into the lead, but they're the reason North Quincy's jumped up to the lead that they have. And Charlie Baker having a terrific fourth quarter.
Timeout Rockland as the Bulldogs hit a 360 to 50, 5.5 to play here in game 1 of the Cotter tournament. Today tournament sponsored by Abington Bank in honor of the legacy of Sean Cotter. Cotter was a dedicated and admired resident of Abington who served his community as chairman of Abington Bank, as town council for the town of Abington, and as an Abington public school teacher. He also coached basketball, tennis, and soccer for the Abington Green Wave. Cotter passed away in 2007 after a courageous battle with cancer, and this tournament played every year in his name, as Sean was a true fan and an avid supporter of Abington High School sports. A couple of teams that are constants, CCA, Rockland, and of course the host, the Abington Green Wave.
And prior to joining the South Shore League, we saw Sandwich a few times over here. But it seems as if the past few years Cape Cod Academy's been up here, but it used to always be Rockland, Abington, and then two teams that would play usually in a two-year span. But be interesting to see. It's always interesting to see the teams every year in the Sean Cotter tournament.
Burris hands to Nguyen. Back to Burris, an open look from three. No good. DePina the rebound for Rockland. DePina flying in with speed. Turned it over to Burris. Burris all the way in, had his shot blocked away. Camo floats up ahead for Taryn Williams, who puts it off the window and in.
And Rockland with an 8 now, like I said. A couple buckets, a couple stops, get back into this one, make a little bit of noise and make it a ball game. And Taryn Williams that time an easy transition bucket. And he's had a quiet night, but hopefully for the Bulldogs, maybe he can catch fire late in this fourth quarter.
Arizola at the elbow to the corner for Woods three. It's good. Just like that, North Quincy back up 11.
And North Quincy's had an answer for everything Rockland's thrown at them. Rockland's gotten in within 3. North Quincy answers right back. That time, a little bit of momentum shift in favor of Rockland. Hunter Wood knocks down a 3, give them an 11-point lead.
Karen Williams working against Nguyen, the hesitation, and Nguyen commits his 3rd personal foul.
Great foul on 24, Kobe Nguyen. Karen Williams will shoot 2.
Back in comes Dominic White. Conley back in for the Raiders. Ten-point lead for North Quincy. Arizona right on the baseline. Full court pressure from Rockland. Raiders able to break it. Arizola flings out for Nguyen. Now to reset at the top, it's Conley. Wood rotating with Nguyen. Wood driving. Took some contact. They'll be at the line for 2. Dominic White has committed his 4th personal foul. Wood, true on his first attempt.
Something I've noticed just looking up the North Quincy roster, just a very young roster. Just 2 seniors in the rotation, with them being Will Conley and Governor Charlie Baker. But outside of those 2, we just saw Hunter Wood at the line. He's a freshman. Kobe Nguyen just a junior. So a young roster for the North Quincy Raiders, and hopefully for Coach Kevin Barrett and the squad, a bright future.
Nguyen was a freshman on the team that made that run in the MIAA tournament a couple of years ago before falling to Malden Catholic. A high-powered Lancer offense in that one. North Quincy was able to stay with them for a little bit before the Lancers ran away with it.
The eventual state champs, the Malden Catholic Lancers.
Leduc gives to DePina. Now it's Camo for 3. No good. Wood holds up and puts the jumper in.
Very nice second half for Hunter Wood. He was quiet in the first half, but since Kobe Nguyen really quieted down, Hunter Wood's picked up and taken care of it, taking care of business, taking over the load for the Raiders, and they've jumped out to a 13-point lead.
DePina jumper doesn't go. Taryn Williams fighting with Nguyen for the rebound. It's a 3-on-1, and Jax Leduc comes away with the steal. White fouled.
Great foul on the 5, AJ Arizola. Dominic White will go to the line.
White's first attempt, no good.
Check it back in for Rockland, number 20, Danny Johnson.
White 0 for 2. Williams the offensive rebound, and he is fouled on the putback attempt.
Great foul number 25, Charlie Baker.
All on the go.
Taryn Williams will shoot 2.
Bulldogs missing 3 free throws consecutively, James.
And like I said, especially earlier in the broadcast, because we were talking about how North Quincy shoots the free throw particularly well. Rockland, on the other hand, hasn't shot the free throw particularly well tonight. And those points come back to bite you. And it's not very close, but in a close game, you look at the free throw margin, look at the free throw percentage, and that's when you really decide, should we have won that game? So free throw is all important, and Rockland's really struggled, especially down the stretch in this second half at the free throw line.
Both teams in a double bonus now. And Dominic White is fouled out. Camo's going to come back in. White's had a decent game, James.
Yeah, he had a good game, and he's an aggressive defender, and he's athletic down low, just as seems to be every Rockland player on the roster. Just a very uber athletic roster, but Dominic White, very athletic. He's a very good defender, and he's knocked down a couple mid-range jumpers, but and this has been a very physical game, so a lot of fouls to go both ways. But this time, I believe Dominic White, the first player to foul out of the ball game, and what's been a very intense and very competitive game that's been very physical. So a lot of fouls to go both ways. Dominic White, great game, especially on the defensive end.
Johnson stepping all the way through, makes it a 10-point lead, 2:15 to go here in the fourth quarter. Nguyen, nice dish down low to Wood. And a travel called on Hunter Wood. Timeout called by North Quincy, 1:59 to go here in the fourth quarter. They lead by 10.
And we saw it on the last Rockland offensive possession, but I feel I've said it a couple times now, but Danny Johnson has been terrific tonight for the Bulldogs, and he's the real reason why they're still within 10, because they've really struggled in the offensive end of the floor. But Danny Johnson putting together a nice performance regardless of the score, getting the job done. That's the Danny Johnson. He's couldn't find him, a junior for the Bulldogs, so still another year for Coach Fred Damon and the Bulldogs. Danny Johnson putting together a nice performance.
Well, if all things hold, North Quincy will improve to 6-13. The Bulldogs will fall to 5-14. And more importantly, they're on a now 4-game losing streak. North Quincy defeating Silver Lake by 2 last Thursday. They will be riding a 2-game winning streak.
And like I said, Silver Lake, probably won't make the tournament, down in the rankings in Division II, I believe in the 50s or so. But if you're Coach Barrett and the Raiders, you want to finish your season on a positive note, make some noise in the Sean Cotter tournament, maybe play spoiler to a team like Rockland who's still trying to get in, as well as Abington, give them a loss or something, and just really play spoiler and finish the season on a positive in a positive manner and on a positive note.
Johnson called for the double dribble. Taryn Williams working against Nguyen off the inbound pass. Nguyen turns it over to Jax Leduc. Leduc picks up the dribble, fires to the corner for DePina. DePina had it tipped out by Will Conley.
And that's something I feel like we haven't talked about him a ton, but Will Conley, the senior captain, he's not going to, it seems like he won't, score the most points, but he gets it done on the defensive end of the floor that time, almost coming away with a steal on Jordan DePina.
Danny Johnson's three-point attempt was blocked loudly by Charlie Baker. Arizola called for the foul. That will put Jax Leduc at the line, and here's another 2 free throws that could have ultimately made a difference in the final score, or at least the margin of this game.
Yeah, Rockland, they've struggled at the free throw line and missed another one, but especially in the second half. The first half, they didn't really get to the line a ton, but in the second half, they've really struggled to knock down free throws, and those come back to bite. Maybe not in a 10-point game, but in a game that's 3 or 4 points, and maybe even with all the points that they've left at the free throw line. I don't know the exact totals, but Rockland really, unable to capitalize on their many trips to the free throw line in the second half.
5 out of 6 missed on their last 3 trips to the stripe. Arizona slows things down. 1:15 to play and a foul called on Brendan Camo, his 4th personal.
He yelled at him last.
First one off the back iron for Arizona.
You
67-56, and a foul called on Arizona. Both coaches are unhappy with the officiating tonight.
Most coaches are. Most coaches are.
Johnson hitting his first of 2. Game 2 of the Cotter tournament. Game 3 on the day will feature Cape Cod Academy, the Seahawks, and your Abington Green Wave. Timeout called by Rockland. 1:13 to play here in this one. The North Quincy Raiders will move on to the championship game. The Bulldogs in the consolation game. 5:30 on Wednesday for the consolation, 7 for the championship. North Quincy will face the winner of Cape Cod Academy and Abington. Will be another triple header for us here on Abington Cam on Wednesday as well. The Green Wave girls varsity basketball team will be hosting Apponequet. The Lakers at 3:30.
I think Mad Dog Man Nelson could use a bar pie after this one.
Absolutely. The only question is where.
Do you make the trip to Randolph? Is that the question of the night here at Abington High School?
After 3 games, there is little chance that I'm driving north just to come back home south. It'll be something on the way. Maybe Venus and Whitman. Who knows?
The wise words, the famous quote of Dave Portnoy. It gets character points if it looks like a nuclear bunker.
Absolutely.
He was, of course, referencing the great Venus Pizza in Whitman.
Loose ball on the deck. Dual possession is the call. Bulldogs have it with 1:06 to play. Down 9.
I was going to say, that review hit close to home for Abington Cam with the terrific nuts and bolts we got screwed call.
It's been a while since that one hit the media and the airwaves. 3 is good for Danny Johnson. Just like that, James, it's a 2-possession game with a minute to go.
And Danny Johnson's put the Bulldogs on his back, especially in this 4th quarter, but all night long, and another turnover.
Tipped away. Now DePina finds Johnson. He wanted to launch from 3, instead has his shot blocked out of play by Wood. He'll have another chance off of an inbound here for Rockland.
I'd like Rockland to keep feeding Danny Johnson the rock. Danny Johnson's had a great game. He's the hot hand for the Bulldogs, knocked down a big 3. And Danny Johnson, the reason they're within 6, he's put the Bulldogs on his back in this 4th quarter.
Leduc down low, count the bucket in, 1 for Brandon Camo. And here come the Bulldogs with 42 seconds to play.
Here we were talking about bar pizza, and the Bulldogs are back in it. First Danny Johnson from beyond the arc. This time Brandon Camo, a chance to make it a 1-possession ball game.
Margin of victory also an important thing here as the MIAA power rankings. Charlie Baker the rebound, and now DePina and Taryn Williams fly into play defense. The Hail Mary pass up to Hunter Wood. Stolen away again. This time it's Leduc. Jax Leduc finds a lane. Windmill, count the bucket and the foul. Leduc a chance to make it a 1-point game with 21.7 seconds to go.
And Jax Leduc, he hasn't gotten a ton of time tonight. But in his limited minutes, he's really got the job done this time. Forced a turnover in transition, laid it in, and hopefully he can knock down the free throw because we've talked about how free throws have hurt the Bulldogs, and it's a 2-point game with the amount of free throws they've missed. One could wonder, what would have happened if they made those free throws?
Fourth foul on Nguyen, a timeout called by Rockland. It's 67-66. Well, James, all that conversation about North Quincy improving, Rockland falling. Well, now there's a chance to flip the script.
That's the jinx. That's the announcer's jinx, Mad Dog. And we all know about the dreaded announcer's jinx. I won't use it. I won't say it. But Rockland, Danny Johnson, Brandon Camo, and now Jack Saduki forced the turnover and then laid it in on the other end. The three guys getting it done down the stretch. Three guys that, maybe not, they're not the captains, maybe not the guys you would have expected, but Danny Johnson, terrific ball game tonight, as well as Camo, and some great resilience from the Rockland Bulldogs.
If Rockland is able to pull out the miraculous comeback, every good coach will tell you, even after a win, that we have things to improve on. The Bulldogs could be up by multiple possessions here if they converted those free throws.
Yeah, and they've knocked down, we just saw LeDuc knock down a clutch free throw, but they really struggled from the free throw line, especially to start this fourth quarter. And down in a 1-point game when they missed, I think, 5 free throws in the fourth quarter, a lot could change, but hindsight's always 20/20, so Rockland still with a chance, 20 seconds to go to get the job done, and hopefully for them get away with a win.
Well, Nguyen's headed to the free throw line. He has been perfect so far. We'll see if the announcer's curse comes in again here. Nguyen's first is no good. The broadcaster's curse alive and well here in Abington tonight.
What are you, 3 for 3 on curses tonight?
I think we're 3 for 3. Nguyen's second attempt is good. 2-point ball game. The Bulldogs have a chance to hold out and attempt a buzzer-beating 3 for the win. DePina instead drives in, has a shot blocked, and worst case scenario, turns it over to Wood. And now it's going to be Brendan Camo called for his 5th foul.
And that's the look they want. It was a tough contested look, but Danny Johnson's had the hot hand. You want to give it to your best scorer of the night, and that's what they did when they gave it to Johnson. Johnson just unable to connect on the contested layup. And who knows? Maybe North Quincy can miss a pair of free throws of their own, and Rockland gets another shot at it with 10 seconds to play.
Rockland taking their time with the substitution here. It is Camo that has fouled out, the second Bulldog to hit 5 fouls. Tyler Boehner into the game, the senior. Hunter Wood for the ceiling free throws hits the first.
And the all-important second free throw for the North Quincy Raiders.
To make it a 2-possession game. He does. Danny Johnson will take it up. Long 3 is good. For LeDuc, the buzzer sounds, and the final margin of victory, James, was 1 free throw.
And let's just say Rockland missed a couple more than 1 free throw tonight. But Coach Damon's going to look at the box score, look at the stats, and say, he'd like to have those free throws back. But Rockland, they were resilient. Danny Johnson, Brandon Camo, Jax LeDuc came up huge for the Rockland Bulldogs down the stretch. But unfortunately for them, they fell 1 point shy. North Quincy will move forward to the championship game against the winner of the Abington Green Wave and the Cape Cod Academy Seahawks Wednesday night.
Bulldogs will get some strength of schedule points based on the margin of victory only being 1 point, 70-69. In game 1 of the Cotter tournament, North Quincy moves on to the championship. The Bulldogs will play in the consolation game at 5:30 on Wednesday. We're going to step aside. We'll take a quick break and then come back for the third and final game. Quarters numbers 8 through 12 on Abington Community Access today in our triple header. Right after this, it's game 2 of the Cotter tournament. The Cape Cod Academy Seahawks and the Abington Green Wave. Right after this, we'll see you next game.